a lot of times their gym is in their bedroom because a lot of the bedrooms are huge.
Right.
So they've got their bedroom area and then they have like the
And they're
gym
still in
area.
bed?
They're still in bed. And a couple of times with not their spouse.
Hey, babies. Welcome to the Dr. Beauty Podcast hosted by me, Dr. Anna Guanche. I'm so excited you're here. We plan to educate, inspire, and entertain you. This podcast is not just about beauty. It's about lifestyle, inspiration, life hacks, and of course, beauty. Hey, babies. I'm here with Gina Lombardi. She's a celebrity personal trainer. She's an inspirational speaker. She is a dear friend of mine and an amazing, ethical, just good, amazing person to be around. But she also is an author, a TV show host, and she has her own podcast called Health Interrupted. And I was on one of those episodes. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. Just adore you. Okay, I have time for one more question.
Okay, one more question. What's the meaning of life?
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
And you're a celebrity trainer, and you've trained some pretty amazing individuals, and I'd love to have you share as much as you can about who you've trained before.
Yeah, I mean, does that sound weird, celebrity trainer? Like, who's the
You're
celebrity?
a celebrity?
Am I the celebrity or am I training celebrities? When you say
It says
celebrity
right here,
trainer.
you're a celebrated personal trainer, but you train celebrities.
Yeah, I know often people will call me celebrity trainer Gina Lombardi, and I'm like, is that weird? Is that weird? That's not weird, right? Yeah. I guess if you do train celebrities, then you are a celebrity trainer.
Exactly.
But I do train other people too that aren't celebrities
Oh,
who are
that's true.
wonderful people. But getting back to the celebrities, yes.
Unfortunately, nobody wants to hear about the regular people that you train.
Aw,
I'm sorry.
they're really nice people.
I'm just kidding. We
What
do
about
want to hear
Nancy?
about them. What about Nancy? What about Susan? And what about
Yeah.
Tom? Okay,
Okay, so
tell us about Tom.
yeah. Oh, Tom was just a pleasure to work with. And one thing about him, and I don't know if people really know this unless you've seen some behind the scenes stuff with him, but he's an amazing, tremendous athlete. Like, he takes everything really seriously, and he does his own stunts, which I don't know if many of you know, but I did stunts myself for several years, which is why I'm all broken now. That's why I had to see your husband.
That's right.
My right hip, my left shoulder. I've had surgery on both hands. I have surgery on my hip, both feet. I've had surgery on. And it's really hard, to not only have to be an actor, but to look a certain way and to have to perform a lot of different things, either sports-wise or stunt-wise. And he's got it all. It's pretty amazing.
No, I've followed his career for a really long time. I know people have different opinions about Tom Cruise, but he is an amazing athlete from what I understand. And he also, I did see where he was filming a movie and fractured his foot or ankle sliding into a building, and it was incredibly painful looking. The video was cringy, and I thought, God, that's commitment. And I think it's just amazing what stunt people do, and to do your own stunts, that just makes it even more committed in a way. It seems like he really throws himself into everything
50%.
Yeah.
From the get-go. And even my own husband, Kevin Sizemore, who you've had on your podcast.
Yes.
He's very
Kevin
fun.
Sizemore.
He does all his own stunts too.
Oh,
which is why
I did not realize that.
He has many injuries and has also seen your husband.
That's why he's my husband's patient, because my husband's an orthopedic surgeon.
He kind of puts us all back together, and it's all good.
That's right.
But it looks better. Like, did you ever see a movie and you see a stunt happen, you're like, wait a second, that was supposed to be a woman, and it was like you could tell it was a guy with a wig on.
Right.
It just doesn't look real. It just doesn't look realistic. But you're also taking a job away from a stunt person if you do the stunt yourself. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Well, I was thinking about this, and just as we were talking right now, if you injure the main actor in the show doing a stunt, then the show is on hold.
It comes to a screeching halt.
If you have a stunt double, I'm sure there's some aspect of that, but maybe not as much, because the rest of the filming can continue. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. but it really depends on the stunts, because there's sometimes when you absolutely need a stunt double or stunt person.
Right.
You know, precision driving, pyro, you know, when people are getting lit on fire.
Yeah.
Jumping from really high, like doing really high falls. That one scared me. I didn't like that. The highest I ever fall was only from like 10 feet.
That's all.
And when you're up 10 feet, it looks so high that it does not, when you look up 10 feet, it's so much different than when you're looking down 10 feet. And to know how to jump and fall that way, it's pretty precise.
Are you still doing that?
No. In fact, my last one was when I didn't know I was pregnant with my son Gunnar, and I was jumping out of a moving van onto asphalt in the Sepulveda Basin for a movie. And the director had me do it so many times that finally the stunt coordinator came over and said, that's enough. Like, if you didn't get it now, you're not getting it at all.
Right.
So we finally stopped, but I didn't know I was pregnant at the time.
Huh.
So, of course, when I found out, I was really freaked out, but everything was fine.
Everything's fine.
I think you have a grace period, right?
Oh, yeah, you have a grace period.
It's like
that when it's brand new, that baby's got so much cushioning around it, like little, it's
right?
in a cocoon of cushioning. Yeah.
Exactly.
But
it's like people go, I've been drinking like a fish.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm pregnant.
What about
That's probably not good.
What about those people that deliver their baby into it? We had those in the emergency room that deliver their baby into a toilet because they thought they had to poop, and then they pooped out a baby.
What?
This has happened.
Wait, I gotta Google that real quick. Excuse me.
This has happened a lot of times, by the way, when you Google it. Yeah, in Louisiana, we had people who just did not realize they were pregnant and just thought they were having a bowel movement and went, and then all of a sudden a baby comes out.
Were these like teenagers or something? Or
some are teenagers that are in denial, and some are very like sort of heavier people who didn't realize that they were pregnant because they were larger body habitus. So yeah, crazy, right? And I say, well, what about your no period? And what about, I don't know.
Are you uncomfortable, Rob, that we're talking about this?
Rob is getting uncomfortable.
I was shocked just by the pooped out a baby.
He's stuck on that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, God, I'm really constipated.
My God.
You push.
You're like, I'm really constipated. It's a boy.
That Rob was a Guanche baby, and which is a different thing altogether.
What's that?
Repeat the question.
How long are people in the bathroom when they do this? Well, I mean, probably about 30, 45 minutes. You know, the first baby that people have is really difficult to deliver because everything's, never been opened up before, the cervix and the vagina and all that. But if it's like a later time and they've had babies before, sometimes it just you sit on the toilet and the baby's there. So, I mean, yeah, no, but I can't tell you that was a rare occurrence. That happened pretty frequently in the emergency room in Louisiana at Charity Hospital where I did my med school. So that was just to give you context. But also teenage moms who are so out of touch with their bodies that they just were in denial, I guess, I would imagine.
So wait, you worked in the ER for a while?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, when you go to medical school, you have to rotate through everything. Like you do gynecology rotation, you do pediatrics, you do ER, you do all that. ER was one of my favorites. And so sometimes you could elect to do more of something than another. So I did love sewing up lacerations. We had so many drunk people that came in with lacerations in New Orleans. And I basically was like, I want to stitch everybody. And these people were moving targets. I had to stitch these moving targets who are drunk and trying to stare at me through the little drape. I said, no, stop moving. I'm stitching you.
What?
Sometimes we had to sedate them because they were so drunk and unruly that we would have to give them what's called droperidol. We would drope them and knock them out so we could stitch them.
Wait, isn't that a date drug?
No,
I'm
date
just kidding.
drug
I don't know.
Which one's a date drug, you guys? Huh?
No, I don't know. Yeah.
I was looking at Rob, the only boy in the room.
I thought you were my information source. I wasn't sure.
Which one is the date drug? He's turning like 10 shades of red. Okay, so roofies, right? Roofies? Something
Yeah,
with an
I
R?
guess so. Yeah, roofies.
Roofies. No. Droperidol is a shot. It's like Haldol, but an injectable. And then you're knocked out for hours. Oh, my God. Anyway, patients will
How
wake up.
did we get on this subject?
How did we get on this subject? We're totally off on a tangent. We were talking about
M-Sculpt.
but then we segued it. No, we were talking about being a stunt double, and that you did your own stunts, and that Tom Cruise did his own stunts.
Yeah.
And then we talked about injuries, and then we talked about how did we get into the baby thing?
I don't know, but now we're back to it.
Back.
Okay, so.
Because you said you were pregnant and you were doing stunts and you didn't even realize you were pregnant. It was really early.
Yes.
And then I was saying sometimes people don't realize till the end that they're pregnant.
Yeah, and thank God
happen.
Gunnar turned out okay.
And your baby turned out okay. And what's he up to now?
He's 17 now.
17, very handsome, I must say.
Oh
He's
my
an
God.
actor.
He's an actor, voiceover actor. He writes and directs. He's only 17. He's been shooting films since he was little, but since he was 15, like, doing camera work and editing and coloring and doing sound and just literally doing it all.
Phenomenal.
He's amazing.
He's the son of an actor and a stunt woman and what do you expect?
I know. He used to love being in front of the camera, but now he likes being behind the camera. Except voiceover is something he will never give up because he loves it. So he loves doing cartoons and stuff like that.
Which cartoons is he in?
He is on the Emmy Award winning Craig of the Creek and Ben 10. And now he's regular on We Baby Bears, which is really cute. And the characters are so interesting on that show. You're thinking like, oh, this is for little kids. And then when you see the show, he plays a few characters, but one of his characters is called Squatter Otter. And I saw one of the episodes and he's like, this otter is wearing a trench coat, and then he opens a trench coat in front of a bunch of little bears. But he's got candy. But it just looks so weird. It's like he's opening his trench coat. I'm like, Cartoon Network, you are on the edge.
What are we doing?
But it's fantastic.
Cartoons have been getting weirder and weirder. Like, have you guys ever seen Ren and Stimpy?
Oh, yeah.
That's not even the latest one. But like, I would watch that sometimes peripherally and be like, what the heck are these people doing? Anyway.
I think The Simpsons started it. Or was it South Park? Wait, which came first? The Simpsons,
I like The
right?
Simpsons because to me, they have like 4 levels of humor, maybe even a level that I don't even get to. They have like Harvard and Yale and like Columbia writers for that show, and it'll be a joke, and like a little kid would get it on one level, I would get it on that level, and then there's 3 other levels above that, the 3 other references above that if you can understand it, if you understand the whole story behind it, so I call it like tri-level humor, so you can be intellectually stimulated while you're being entertained. It's kind of cool.
It's so true. It's so genius. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long it was that people didn't know that Bart was a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you guys, Bart's voice is a woman, and she lives in Southern California. And some of my friends tell me that she has a crazy poker event at her house that's just like really fun, and it's star-studded, and
yeah,
I don't know if it's
supposed
to be a secret, but it wasn't a patient that told me that, so I could share.
Yeah. No, I've been to it many times.
It's a charity
very cool.
thing too, right?
Yeah, it's at her house. Her house is really cool.
Yeah.
And she has a big cow on the property.
A real one? A live one?
No. It's a big statue.
It's a cow statue.
But yeah, she's great. I worked with her when she was doing her one person show. I was going to say one man show, but one woman show that she took to Edinburgh and did it there. So she wanted to be in good physical shape. As we were talking about earlier.
You trained her?
Yes, Nancy Cartwright.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we were talking about earlier, maybe before we started, or maybe it was while we were still rolling, or not. But
anything could have happened in this
Anything could have
podcast. In
happened.
this particular podcast,
it's a free-for-all.
It's a free-for-all. Like maybe we were rolling, maybe we weren't. You might not be getting everything we said, or you might get extra.
Right.
Just saying.
But I also trained Mr. Krabs, who is Clancy Brown, who's a fantastic crab and lovely to work with.
That's why Mr. Krabs is so freaking hot.
He's hot. He's buff. He's jacked.
She's
pincers. His pincers. Is it pincers?
She was like toning his pincers.
Is that what they call it now? I'm going to be in so much trouble.
No, nobody's going to get you in trouble.
No, people don't realize how physical voiceover is.
Yeah, right?
You know,
it's almost like singing, isn't it? You have to like
It's-
push.
Well, it's acting times 10 because you're not seeing the actor's face, but the actor has to deliver their performance through a cartoon character. So you really have to be a good actor to do that. And why do I know so much about this? Because I spent hours upon hours going to my son's jobs because he started when he was 4.
Yeah.
So
wow.
the parent has to be with the child, of course, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But now he doesn't need me anymore. He drives himself.
He's
but
a grown up.
to sit there and
Almost.
watch him do a performance in a VO booth with like all these amazing actors, it's incredible.
I love it.
I love animation.
So it's interesting to me to think about the order of events. I feel like obviously they do the sound, they do the whole movie, and then they do the animation to the sound. Is that right? So that they can match the exact movement of the body to the sound?
Yeah, they do. They do the animation, then they do the animatics, which is the mouths moving. And but they record all the characters and then they make the mouth move to the audio.
Okay.
Because it would be too hard to have the actor
copy. Yeah, that's what I'm
move
thinking. You
to
can't
the-
have the actor try to match, like I do on TikTok, try to match the exact sound with their.
which you do really well, by the way.
Try.
That's hard.
I try, and I actually love doing it, so it's really fun for me. And people ask me like, "What's your angle with the TikToks?" I'm like, "No angle. I just like it." But it's fun to try to match that. And I've always been one that happens to know all the words to songs, and I just love to know the words. I don't do it on purpose. I just know the words to songs, and so for me, it comes a little bit naturally. But I have found that sometimes it's easier than others. Like sometimes your brain just isn't so great, so fresh.
Yeah.
Ask Courtney. She has to roll her eyes like 100 times before I get through the TikTok.
TikToks are hard, people.
They're hard.
They are not easy. We have to give credit where credit's due because you nail it on the dialogue replacement.
I
Because
try.
that's a whole career that people have.
Really?
Did you know that? We're talking nothing about training. I know.
Is that
I love
my
this.
next career? Oh my
No,
God.
you would be
Marie-
so good at it. But, Gunnar also, my son also does ADR, which is actor dialogue replacement.
Ah.
Okay. Where, let's say they do a movie
Uh-huh.
and they have to, let's say the audio was bad.
Okay.
And they have to dub in those lines again. That's one way they do it. Okay.
so then I would just have to hear the crappy sound and watch the mouth movements and try to match the dialogue
exactly.
to the video.
Yes. And people get paid a lot of money for that.
Oh, give me.
I know.
Give me.
It's
I'll
also
do that. I
really-
actually find that to be challenging, and I love it. I actually love doing it.
It's really cool. It's really cool to see actors do it. And the ones that are really good just totally nail it.
Just nail it. Like
You'd be
yeah,
so great
easy.
at it.
Oh, I would love to do that. You should pass out my card to those people.
You
or
know
pass
what?
me
It's
those people's card.
It's so hard to get into these, they
I
call them
know.
loop groups because there's like, it's an unspoken,
Yeah. My
thing.
son did a lot of acting
yeah.
in high school, tons, and in grade school and in college too. And he took some voiceover classes, not as many, but he said if you get into voiceover acting, it just feeds itself. Like it's hard to break into, but once you get into it, it's one of those things where you always have work because
Yeah.
they need you on that character repeatedly,
Mm-hmm.
or you prove yourself, and then you're in that tiny group of people, the go-to people for voiceovers. So I know what you're talking about. So they call
Yeah.
that what kind of loop?
ADR.
And no, but you said they call
Looping,
it
like loop groups.
a loop group.
Yeah.
A loop group.
It's cool.
I want to be a member of any club that will not have me.
That will not have you?
That will not have me. Who said that? Was it Mark Twain? I want to be a member of any club that will not have me.
Mark Twain had some really awesome quotes.
Yes, he
Okay,
did.
I have one for you, which
Yeah,
is
tell
one of
me.
my favorites.
Tell me.
He said he spent most of his life worrying about things that never happened.
That's my favorite. One of my favorites from Mark Twain.
And it's
yes.
so true because we worry about everything.
It's
And he
true.
also said worrying is like paying a debt you don't owe.
It is so true.
So stop worrying. Stop worrying.
Yeah, I know. It's the thing about it is that it's easier said than done, because if
Mhm.
you could just stop worrying, you would. But it's just one of those little niggly things that comes over you sometimes.
Yeah.
But so you do inspirational speaking,
Do
right?
I?
No,
Is that a career I had and I forgot?
it's
No,
on
I've done a lot of public speaking.
It's okay.
Yes, I've done a lot of public speaking, but it was mainly in the area of fitness and training trainers.
Mhm.
And I've been all over the world. It's been pretty amazing. You know, I think some people front load their career and they do a lot of stuff in the early years, like let's say between 20 and 40.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of that during that time.
Mhm.
And now it's like finding new things to be inspired and motivated by.
I love it.
So it's really cool, like the podcast.
Yes.
So I'm doing my podcast with my dear friend Laura Kepler, who's Miss America,
Mhm.
who's amazing. And it's called Health Interrupted. So go find it. Go find it on all the platforms. After, of course, you've listened to all of Anna's episodes.
All of my podcasts first.
All of
no,
them.
I'm just kidding. You guys should like and subscribe. I'm actually on one episode. It's called Health Interrupted. And we talk about sort of things that affect your health and well-being, right? And how to overcome that. And you could tell us more about your podcast.
Yeah, and every guest that we have on has been through, unless they're an expert like Dr. Guanche, every guest that we have on has had some kind of health interruption, either really major, like we had this amazing woman, Stephanie Victor, who had just graduated USC Film School and was at her apartment, taking some things out of her apartment, putting them in her car, and a 16-year-old drunk driver rammed into her on the sidewalk. This was during the day, and she lost both her legs at the hip. And it was just unbelievable. And I was asking you earlier about working in the ER, because the EMTs and the ER people were able to save her life. Not her legs, but her life.
Yeah.
And she went on to be a Paralympic gold medalist and a world champion in downhill skiing, which is a sport she had never done before.
Oh my goodness.
With-
I got goosebumps
With
all over.
2 prosthetic legs. So it goes from that extreme to, down to, somebody breaking both their wrists because they were trying to impress a girl when they were 13 years old. And that was Justin Willman, by the way.
Oh, you're kidding.
Our buddy magician.
Oh, we know
and
Justin Willman.
Netflix star Justin Willman, who we love. And yeah, he rode a bicycle. And you can find out more about this on that episode of Health Interrupted. But he was riding a bicycle with rollerblades on, going down a hill, and he was trying to impress a girl. And he went over the handlebars and wound up breaking both his wrists. And because he did this, and this is so cool, because he did that, the doctor said for physical therapy, he should learn magic because the card tricks would get his dexterity back. And that's how he became a magician.
Okay, he was a magician.
And-
Before he was Justin Willman, you guys, he was just incredible. And he did a lot of magic shows. And I actually hired him a bunch of times when it was up and coming to do magic shows for us. And then I see that he's become this unbelievable success. And he just persevered in what he was doing. He's an incredible magician, but also really funny.
Yes,
he's a great comedian.
He's a comedian. He's a good
And
actor.
I didn't realize that you knew him until
I've been
went.
training him since he was 29 years old.
Really? How come you never trained me?
You never asked.
Okay, I'm ready.
Also, you've got M-Sculpt, and look at
And
you.
I've got my M-Sculpt to train me, but I'm going to come up. Yeah, I'm going to get you to train me. Oh my God.
So
So
fun.
what's your training style? Are you very strict? Are you, what kind of?
That's a really good question, and I'm gonna answer that in
1,
2 words,
2, 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
Here she comes.
And I think it was Kevin James. It was Kevin James that gave me this title. He called me the Velvet Hammer.
Oh, the Velvet Hammer.
Yes,
I like it.
because I have a way of being super sweet and kind, but I also lay the law down
Follow
when we're
through.
training. And I'm like, this is what we're doing. You're going to work this hour, and it's going to be fun, but you're going to work. And but there's sweetness on top of it. there's Velvet. So he called me the Velvet Hammer.
Do you ever get those people that just want to chat with you and socialize after a while?
Yes, and you know who you are.
What is she trying to say?
Not you. No, not you. There's people. There's
I am
people
like that.
And I'm like, all right, enough. We got to go. We got to work. And so, yes, there are procrastinators. One time.
It's not that I'm a procrastinator. It's that I do love to chat with people. That's probably why I have a podcast, because I just love getting to know people or exchanging, just communicating with people. So I'll end up talking, and then it's like, wait a minute. Like my Pilates instructor will be like, hey, you need to do your next set.
It's been 10 minutes since we did anything.
That's right. Shush, shush.
But I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about other people.
That's because you haven't trained me yet.
They're watching this. You know who you are. Let's get it moving.
Get going.
Okay.
Well, that's what we need, right? Because if you're going to just go to the gym and hang out and chat with people, we would just do that. But you need a trainer. The trainer has to keep you on task, right? And keep you motivated and focused.
Right. And plus, like, okay, just you're paying us.
Yes.
So, like, don't you want us to, like, do, what if we came in for an injectable or something and we just talked the whole time and you're like, oh, well, sorry, I don't have time now. So we never got it done.
But you still got to pay for your syringe.
That's right. You still got to pay for it because you already took it out.
You used up all my time.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. So that motivates you too, because you're like, I'm paying for someone to come do this, and they're gonna show up at my door at this such time. And then, I can't just stay in bed. I got to get up and be trained. So I think part of it is just accountability, right?
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of people getting out of bed, right, for their training sessions, there's been many times where I've gone to someone's house and, they'll give me their code to their gate, because most of the people I work with are in gated homes or communities. And I can get into the house. And a lot of times their gym is in their bedroom, because a lot of the bedrooms are huge.
Right.
So they've got their bedroom area, and then they have like the gym area. They're still in bed. And a couple of times with not their spouse. I can't name any names. I'm sorry.
I want to hear all the names.
I will never work in this town again if I name names. But there was one time where I actually did that, and I went in and I'm like, all right, time to get up. And then another head popped up, and I thought it was the person's spouse.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait downstairs.
Wow.
It was so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. Do all these people have you sign NDAs?
Yeah.
They do, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Not that I can't
if
say.
they're going to be cheating and you're going to get the code to their front door, then.
Oh, of course. I would never.
No, I know.
But,
I got a lot of secrets too.
Oh, like what?
I can't tell you any of them. It's patient confidentiality.
But you said this podcast was going to entertain.
It is. And, unfortunately, all the most entertaining things are things that I'm forbidden to say.
What the bait and switch?
Well, same.
Oh,
who was in bed?
She got me.
Who was in bed with who? I want to know. What?
I don't know.
They should have a statute on that. Like at some point, when 10 years later, can you tell? Or when can you tell?
When you don't want to do this career anymore, that's when you can tell. Because you will. There's a book called "You'll Never Nanny in This Town Again," which my friend ghost wrote for the author, quote unquote author, and it's about the famous agent. My God, his name just slipped my mind. Oh my God. It'll come to me. But the nanny it was a tell-all about this famous agent and his wife, and how they didn't really seem to care about their kids very much.
Oh,
and,
wow.
She told everything. That's why the name of the book is "You'll Never Nanny in This Town Again."
I feel bad for the kids because they'll read that later. God. But also, she must not have signed a thing. NDA.
I guess not.
I think there's a lot of people that I hear about around here. I was just talking earlier about someone whose nanny knows, whose housekeeper knows the next door person's housekeeper. And that person is my patient. And her housekeeper tells her what the very famous neighbors people are doing. And so, you know what I mean?
Do I carry the one?
My patient's housekeeper is friendly with the housekeeper of the people who live next door, who are extremely well known, and they tell each other stuff. And then that housekeeper tells that person, and then she tells me. And then I'm like, whoa, but I can't say anything. Sorry. I can't say anything.
I'll just be
but
over here.
It's in Calabasas. It's in Hidden Hills. That's all I can say. And also, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Such a tease.
No, but I do have a good story about
Okay.
Famous comedian John Mendoza, who is one of my favorite comedians. He has been for a long time. If you don't know his name, shame on you, because he's hilarious.
So who is
go
he?
look him up.
I'm just kidding.
He lives in Calabasas. Oh, should I have not said that? Sorry, John.
Oh my God. I bet you
Everyone
I would
lives
know.
in Calabasas.
Yeah. You know who else lives here? Ken Jeong.
He's so funny.
Okay,
And he's
Ken
like
Jeong
actually a
is
doctor.
hilarious. In person, I saw him at Rite Aid. He's freaking
Oh my God.
hilarious. Okay.
He's so funny.
There's a lot of people. Madonna just moved into Hidden Hills, I believe.
Really?
And J-Lo used to live in Hidden Hills. She sold her house a while ago
Yeah.
to Miami.
People move a lot.
Yeah.
like
I
celebrities
mean, even if
because-
they have a house in Calabasas, that doesn't mean they mainly live here always. So
Right.
but we do have a lot of celebrities here, and people tend to only know the Kardashians because they're the ones that are most famous for Calabasas.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot.
There's so many
A
other.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even Will Smith, I think, and I think Kevin Hart, and
Mm-hmm.
I think.
That's right.
But none of that stuff is definite because people move around a
People
lot.
move.
So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I only know where the people live that I work with. So I don't work
Right.
with Miley Cyrus, but I work with somebody that lived next door to her. But she might have moved. I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay.
we're so
Anyway, back to
gossipy
John
right now.
Mendoza.
Okay, John Mendoza. Does
So-
everybody know who that is?
He's
He's
he
a
had his own
comedian.
show called The Second Half. He tours with Howie Mandel all the time. They're best friends.
Okay.
I had him on my podcast as well, but I trained him for several years. And one of the funniest things he did was he used to leave the front door unlocked because I used to train him at night at like 7 o'clock because he was working during the day doing shows and stuff. So I was a little early. So he had left the door unlocked. So I opened the door and I started walking back to where like the treadmill and all this stuff is and back in the gym. And I go in and I hear the treadmill. I'm like, oh my God, yes, he got on the treadmill before I got here. This is fantastic because normally he was never ready. So he's
sounds
on
like
the
me.
treadmill. So I'm like, this is really great. So I go back there and I hear the treadmill. I see the treadmill running, but he's not on it. And then
Is he
I
tricking
look
you?
over to the couch and he's got a cigarette and a beer and he's watching football. So without a beat, I said, so John, how long have you been on the treadmill? How long have you been on the treadmill? And he goes, hang on. And he got up and walked over to the treadmill and looked to see how long it was running. It was about 40 minutes. I love him so much.
He
He's
was going to
so
pretend.
funny.
He was going to hop right back on right before you came
Oh,
and
he's
pretend.
completely. Like I couldn't smell the smoke and the beer and all that.
Oh my God.
But he has since had a stroke.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
And he completely turned his life around,
Okay.
which is really nice. So that was his health interruption, that he had a stroke. But
So-
yeah, he was leapfrogging off of Howie Mandel's back
Mhm.
in an airport hangar while he was getting ready to fly to go do a show with Howie. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, my chest hurts. And Howie's like, oh my God, shouldn't you see a doctor about it? He goes, I'll do it when I get back. And after he got
Sure.
back, he wound up having a stroke while he was driving,
Oh,
which is really dangerous, by the way. But
of course. So
yeah,
what's really the message here, I think, you guys, is that you don't wait till some horrible thing happens to you to start taking care of your health. And that's
yeah.
one of the things I was talking about the other day. I do a daily quote. I do an inspirational quote. And I'm trying to remember what the exact quote was. But the point is, you just can't take anything for granted. You can't take anything for granted. And the other thing is, you may not have to experience everything yourself in order to learn from it. You can learn from wise people.
Yes.
You can take advice. Like maybe when you're like a teenager, you feel like you have to experience everything and make a bunch of mistakes in order to learn. But as you grow up, you realize, oh, there's a lot of wisdom I can learn from and not have to suffer through the consequences of every bad decision in order to learn. And I know my son told me the corollary to that is, what is it? One thorn of experience is worth an entire forest of what is it? One thorn of experience is worth an entire forest of,
I don't
what's
know.
it called?
Knowledge, advice.
Entire forest of advice. Yeah, because people can tell you till they're blue in the face what you should do. You should exercise. You shouldn't smoke. You should do this. You should do that. Until you have some horrible thing happen, then you don't realize how important it is to turn things around. But anyway, yeah,
It's true because, John talks about how he had just eaten a steak at Larson's Steakhouse. I mean, these are things that you can't keep doing without a consequence. And so you were asking me earlier
Are
about
you trying
my
to
style.
say that I can't keep eating steak?
Well, how often are you eating those steaks?
We're going to start our counseling session.
Right.
So, you guys, I'm low carb. But I don't eat a lot
And
of
it
steak.
shows.
I don't eat, thank you. I don't eat a lot of steak. I eat a lot of lean meat though. I eat chicken and then I do eat cheese and stuff like that. But I don't eat a lot of carbs. So steak once in a while, yeah. But I wouldn't say like a whole slab of steak, just a little half of a petite filet or something.
I try to meet people where they are. If someone is a meat eater and they really love it, I'm going to keep it in there. Like when I work with them on their diet, it's, you have to say, well, okay, do you want to eat all these things or do you want to look like this? So that's the question. You have to be realistic. And I really try to be realistic, but I also want to meet the person where they are.
Right.
And if they're not ready for, okay, but we have to exclude celebrities on this because I have to say actors are really a joy to work with because they usually have a really hard deadline on when they have to look a certain way. So they're super committed. So when you have that, my job is so much easier.
Right.
Because I know what they need to do. So when they do it, it's like boom, 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 you get the result. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but if it's somebody that doesn't have a deadline, then it's a little bit tougher.
I think
they don't have an urgency.
I have to agree with you in my small experience, not nearly like any of these actors, but let's say I'm going to go on set with KTLA or I'm going to go to Cabo with my friends and be in a bathing suit. I think over the pandemic, one of the things they said is that people gain weight because of being sedentary, this and that. But I also think it's because they weren't going to be seen anywhere at any event and they weren't going to go on vacation and wear their bathing suits. So I feel like those things give me my own little deadline of, I'm going to have to wear a bikini in front of other people in a month and a half. So I'm driven, right? But imagine if the whole world's going to see you in a movie at a certain day and you have to play a certain character, it's like another whole level of necessity, right? It's almost like your job is to look good. So, and that's what I try to explain to people who judge actors who do some of the procedures I offer. And actors feel like they can't admit they do them, but on the other hand, they're expected to look a certain way. They're expected not to have a single line. They're expected to be perfect and beautiful because that's what people want to see and that's what they want to watch. So it's kind of a double-edged sword because being photographed from every angle, being photographed when they don't have makeup on 24/7 puts them under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of giving good guidance, being reasonable with these patients, knowing that they still need to move their face, but they still need to look great and whatever. And then understanding they're not going to tell everyone that you did their stuff because people are so judgmental about it, A, and B, they'll basically attribute your entire career and your beauty to, but she admits she does Botox or she admits she does filler. It's getting a little bit better, but it's still like that. So once you won't get your A-listers in most cases admitting that they do any injectables, and yet I see them on the red carpet. I see them.
See, Dr. Anna knows. She can look at a face and know exactly what was done. Right? Just
Most
like she
times,
can match that audio to a TikTok. It's very precise.
It's precision.
Skill. But
right.
Yeah, it's true, right?
Yeah.
And I even have had clients, really big celebrity clients who never would refer me anyone because they didn't want anybody knowing their secret. And they've told me that. They're like, I don't want anybody to know because and I want you to sign an NDA because I want to keep you to myself.
Right.
I've had many people do that. And it's kind of, at first you're like, but you've got all these people you can refer to me. Like when I first started my business. But then I understand why.
No, I totally understand it. It's their prerogative and totally fair, but it is kind of a bummer. Like some of my most famous people, I have to go to their house to do their stuff. And I go to their house and it's a completely secret. Sometimes they don't even let me bring, a lot of times they don't let me bring a team member or like an assistant with me. And so it's like a tree falling in the forest. I want to say,
really
did
happen?
you know that I did so-and-so's face? But I can't.
We've never bumped into each
They
other.
don't tell any of their friends.
How have we never bumped into each other at someone's house?
One of these days, me and Gina are going to bump into each other.
Well, see, okay,
I think she's the early bird and I'm the late bird, though. I think that's probably why. She's there first thing in the morning and I'm like the late one after work.
Yeah. But somebody told me this a long time ago. One of my favorite people that I worked with, she was executive producer, creator, and writer of, remember the show Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? Mm-hmm. It was a while back, but it was like really a good, wholesome, like Saturday night family show. But she said to me one time, and I'm going to say it to you now, you are in the entertainment business. Because I used to say, well, I'm not in your industry. She's like, yes, you are. Because if it wasn't for you, my actors wouldn't look this way on my show. And I happened to train her too, but I trained some of the other people on the show.
Right.
So it's like, she's like, you are in the business because we're helping them
be their best
on our own different levels.
Yeah.
Be the best that they can be, with what they have. That's the other thing. I've had celebrities come to me showing me pictures of other celebrities and saying, I want to look like this. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm like, but you're not that person. Why don't we make you look the best that you can look?
Oh my God, you sound like me.
Well, it's like, it's like common sense, but
yeah.
One of the funniest things, I think it was Molly Sims. I didn't work with her, but we were at an event together and it was a luncheon at one of those like gifting suites. Mm-hmm. Do y'all know what gifting suites are? People know, right?
A gifting suite is where basically different companies put together gifts that they would like for celebrities to carry or wear or use. And so it helps to promote their items that they make so that because they're hoping like that celebrity will be seen using the product or photographed with the product so that it helps promote them. And in exchange, the celebrity gets the free product.
Yeah. So basically you get a bunch of free stuff.
Yeah.
So I was at one of these and they had a luncheon and I'm sitting across from Molly Sims and I was watching what she was eating because it was so fascinating to me to see all the different like celebrities and then non-celebrities and their PR people and who was eating what. Mm-hmm. PR people were eating whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
The celebrity females would get like, they would ask for like a piece of fish with a side of veggies. Mm-hmm, okay. Mainly because they only had like 3 options. So it was like a burger with everything on it and a side of fries. And then it was like salmon with green beans. Okay. And that's it. And then it was like a steak with potatoes and some veggies on the side. So all of the female actresses were getting the fish with the green beans. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there watching, cut a green bean into like 6 pieces and eat one little, and then take a little square of fish and eat that. And by the end, almost the whole plate was still there. Yeah. Now she's really, really thin, right? And we had walked out and she's like, yeah, I'm only about 1 flu away from my ideal weight.
1 flu.
And I was like, and this was like a long time ago. Now you hear people say that, but I swear she was the first one to say that. And it was the funniest thing to me. Because it's kind of true. Like sometimes you're just like, you only need to lose like 5 to 6 pounds. And if you have a flu, bam, it's gone. Right?
Do you know, I say that all the time, get in big trouble.
I know.
Like I say, I think I got diarrhea, but at least that means I'll lose weight.
At least I made my ideal weight.
Good, right? That's not good. I'm a doctor. I'm not supposed to say stuff like that.
But people know we're kidding because we kid.
Kidding. Just kidding.
We're just kidding. Well, what was the worst experience you've ever had going to someone's home?
So early on, I went to a super famous person's house. I was over the moon excited. I had all my stuff with me, and it was another one situation where you can't bring anyone. And I went in, and I was waiting in the kitchen. Often I end up doing injections in the kitchen. People might be laying on the center island to get a peel or whatever.
Oh my God,
they're
so
leaning against their fridge to do their injections. It's not ideal. Like now I bring a light sometimes if I'm going to go because the lighting is not ideal. Like I like being in my cocoon with my procedure lights and my exam table that moves and everything. But I was beyond excited. But literally, I sat in that kitchen for 2 hours waiting for this celebrity to come downstairs to be ready for me to do their shots. So
2 hours?
2 hours.
Okay.
And at the time, my kids were little. And everybody's like, are you going to come home for dinner? What's going on? Where are you? And all this stuff. And the chef was in the kitchen, the female chef, and she was like making stuff and trying to make a chat, conversation with me. But it almost felt like I shouldn't have the right to be upset. But by the end, I was like, this sucks, man. Come on down here so I could do your shots and your stuff.
You bring up a really good point because I think sometimes celebrities take advantage of their power, if you want to call it, or influence, because there's been many times where I've had to sit there and wait an hour and I'm on a schedule and so are you usually probably. So I have other people after you. So I think it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
No matter if you're famous or not, it's still someone's time and it's their livelihood. So.
No, it's true. And I'm, have, especially since COVID, become a chronically late person. I'm chronically late. And I know that some people just are that way. So it's not like they're personally insulting me or doing something to me. But like a few minutes is one thing. 2 hours, I was like,
yeah, that's too much.
Whatever. Besides that, nobody knows I saw this person.
Right. It's not, you can't even get anything else out of it, like a referral.
Isn't that selfish of me? But I also, that's the other thing about being a celebrity. Everyone wants to hook on to like your name and your visibility. And even obviously I'm like that because I'm like, well, nobody knows I saw you anyway. And I spent like now 4 hours because by the time you drive out to wherever their house is and then I'm not going to say where because they probably know who I am and they're not listening. But just in case.
They're not listening. Weren't they on your podcast a few weeks ago?
No.
Oh my God. Well, do you usually do in-home visits?
It's someone who won't admit that they do. It's someone that doesn't admit they know me. But anyway.
Well, do you do your in-home visits like on certain days or on the weekends? Or is it like in the middle of your work day?
No, the way it works is almost always at the celebrity's convenience. So.
Oh, okay.
But it has to be, a time when I don't have patients scheduled.
So that's why my appointment got canceled last week with you.
Or they pop in here. Sometimes they pop in here and they kind of like.
Really?
Yeah.
You get pop-ins? I never get training pop-ins, believe me. That would never happen. No one's like, hey, I just popped in because I want to work out. No, I don't think so.
So the reason I like to be flexible with them is because they have certain times when they can have little needle marks and bruises, certain times when they can't, certain times when they're making appearances or traveling. And just to be in town and to have a period of time where it's okay to be a little not perfect looking is a special moment in their schedule that we have to negotiate. So that I try to work around that as much as possible, but maybe not as bend over backwardsy as I used to be, because it's like I'm taking care of all kinds of people. They're not all famous. I have a lot of people that made appointments a long time ago, and I got to take care of them. So, I try to accommodate as much as possible.
I appreciate that about you.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
My celebrity chefs, my celebrity trainers, my sound guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
My sound. He hasn't done any procedures yet. I'm offended that Rob hasn't asked me to do anything on him.
Doesn't really need anything.
Well, I mean, his crevasse is getting a little
crevasse. That's awesome. Crevasse.
That's a term coined by Jerry O'Connell on our inaugural podcast
He was your first
episode.
Yeah, he was in your first episode,
and he was like talking about his crevasse between his brows. So I mean, I don't know. Rob might be getting a little.
Speaking of crevasse,
he's almost ready.
Speaking of crevasse. I had an actress years ago who wanted to get Botox. And I said, well, don't do it until, you don't have a job. Like you can't do it in the middle of a job.
Right.
Okay. Because, you might have little marks or you might have, if you're getting filler, you might have some bruising, right? Unless Dr. Anna does it. Because I've had clients that have come back with no bruising. Amazing. Because you're so good at it.
Thank you.
But, she got Botox all up here and then booked a pharmaceutical campaign where it was for like some, I don't know what the drug was, right? Like some gut drug, like some, I don't know, like Prilosec or I don't know, something like that. And it was a whole campaign.
Yeah.
So it was like a week-long shoot. And they're like, we need you to show pain, like you're really in pain and you're going to hold your stomach. And she's like, trying to.
Nothing moves.
And nothing's moving up here, right? I don't know who did her inject. It wasn't you that
wasn't
did
me.
it. It was a long time ago. But she was like, so they decided they had to cut her hair and give her bangs because like right there on they had to shoot the whole thing over because she couldn't move her forehead.
Yeah.
So she couldn't show expression. So it was pretty funny.
I find it interesting that Botox is still being done that way. I do Botox on everyone, and not just obviously celebrities, but if I do it on someone who's an actress, someone who needs to move their face, I always do a different type of dosing. I do it a different way so that they can still move and still make expression and not look like a frozen, person, or not have their brows knocked down to where they're not moving it at all. But Botox has been around for 20 years this year, and I'm surprised that still the technique is, I feel like if you do Botox enough times, you should be able to start seeing what works best in your patients. And I find there's a lot of that out there where people are just overdone or they look odd. And it's like a peeve. Like I look at it like, what'd you do to that person?
Why did you do that?
Why'd you do that?
Remember the girl on Desperate Housewives? I think Bree was her name, her character name, but I don't know her actual name. But she was the redhead with the blue eyes, and her forehead was completely so smooth and so shiny and did not move at all. Oh. So there was that, like it was that look, right?
Yeah, that reptilian non-movement of anything on your face look. But, obviously some people do come in and they want that. They're like, I don't want anything to move. And I'm like, really? You want nothing to move? You want to talk and nothing on your face moves? I'm like, it's not really that attractive.
Well, Leah Remini, who I've known since she was in her 20s, and she's a client of mine for many years. She's in New York right now doing something, and she put on her Instagram, and it was hilarious. I don't know who she's hosting this show with, but she said, well, we got a comment on our Instagram and somebody called us 2 Botoxed mannequins. And we have 2 words for that. Thank you. She was excited about it because she loves that look.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she's like, thank you for telling us we look like 2 Botox mannequins.
Oh,
that's what we were going for.
Yeah.
So I guess some people really do like that look.
Yeah.
Just being really smooth.
Honestly, to roll back what I just said and completely contradict myself.
Yeah.
To some extent, you have to do what someone wants. Like if that's what they want and you talk to them and say, are you sure you don't want to look natural? This is what I'm known for. And And like, no, I want no lines. Well, if you have no lines, you have no movement. And is that okay? Yes, I want no movement. And I'm like, okay, then you to some extent have to give people what they want. But I think at this point, because of my social media and because I've been around for a while, people know that I'm the one that's going to give you the more natural look. So if they want that frozen look, they're not coming to me. They go to someone else who's going to just knock them out and they don't move at all. So I think it's interesting to think about though each person's individual aesthetic and try to blend what I want to do for them with what they want and make sure that we're meeting at a point that ends up satisfying to both of us.
We have the same philosophy. You have to meet the person where they're at.
Yeah.
So some people aren't willing to work as hard, to be healthy and to be in shape. So you have to start them somewhere. So you got to start them where they're comfortable and then build on that and educate. And educating them is is a big part of what I do. So I want them to be educated. In fact, I've had at least 2 clients over the years, not celebrity clients, but 2 regular clients who went on to become trainers.
Oh, wow.
Because they learned so much from me training them. They were like, I'm really interested in this. And I helped them get certified as trainers.
I love it.
So that was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that's gratifying.
I like that.
So tell me what inspires you. What inspired you to do what you do? What inspires you now?
You know what? What inspires me is technology and progression. And, there's so many new things happening in the world in that respect. I don't know if I don't want to say this if other people aren't, like, if they have a certain opinion about it, but like NFTs and cryptocurrency and all these kinds of things is a very interesting thing that's going on right now. I actually, I'm really into learning about that, and it's fun. I know some people aren't into it, but it's
I just
very
don't know enough
interesting.
about it, and people keep trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I do want to learn about it.
Yeah, but people said that about computers, like
I
back
know,
in the
I know.
80s. It's like,
No, I know.
no, I know. But it's like, if somebody doesn't know about it, don't put it down until you've done your research and you learn about it.
Exactly, yes.
Because it's the future. Blockchain is definitely the future. And I'm not pretending I'm an expert on it, but it's so fascinating.
Really? I need
really
to read more
is.
about it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We had someone that our team member that was obsessed, and every lunchtime would be trying to explain to everybody about it and all this. And it was, if I feel like if you're not ready to learn about it, it's like a big blank thing. It's like you just can't seem to get it unless you're ready. I think when you're ready, then you'll start acquiring that information.
Yeah, it's kind of like a black hole that you don't want to go near.
Like a black hole.
But here's the problem. It's like computers. You have to start learning about it a little bit now because it is going to be the future. I don't think there's ever going to be credit cards again or checks. I mean, I don't know who writes checks.
It's hard to believe anyone took a check. You just sign a piece of paper.
Right, but who thought it would ever go away either?
Yeah, that's true. That's the other thing is that checks haven't gone away.
They haven't, but not many, unless you're like 80, not many people use checks anymore, right? So with blockchain and Bitcoin and all that stuff, everything's leaning towards there. Why are all the big companies buying up Bitcoin? And why are they buying up all these other crypto altcoins and stuff? So it's really fascinating. But anyway, I like the technology, and that transfers over into fitness as well. Because we have things like tonal, which is like a, it looks like a monolith. It's like the mirror, but you put it on your wall, and you can tap into a real trainer, and you can do exercises on this thing that looks like a mirror on your wall. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
Peloton has one of those too, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's
cool.
It's fascinating to see how fitness has changed too.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you really don't have an excuse. Like Rob was saying earlier, that he hasn't had a gym membership since before the pandemic. So I said he has till the end of the week.
But get cracking.
Like who didn't gain a few pounds over the pandemic, right?
It's true.
But some people got into the shape of their lives. Why? Because they made a decision.
Yes.
They were either going to gain weight, or they were going to take this time with their families to walk for an hour every night, to watch their diet, to learn how to cook, to start exercising with the equipment they had in their basement that had clothes hanging on it.
Yeah.
And they did, and they really got into the shape of their lives.
Yeah.
None of my clients gained weight over the pandemic because we did a seamless transition just right onto FaceTime and Zoom. Which was fantastic.
I was
awesome.
Really proud
Are
you still doing some of that on Zoom?
Yeah, I still am. Because some people are like, hey, you don't have to be in traffic.
Yeah.
I'm fine with using Zoom. Let's just keep doing this. And it's like really been great.
Yeah, I think that the pandemic has brought us a leap forward in technology, working from home and using all these tools that we always had, but we were never maximizing the use of it because we didn't need to. And now I think it's going to a lot of this stuff will stay that way.
Is there a stock you wish you had gotten before the pandemic?
Zoom? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Zoom and let's see, toilet paper. Peloton like sold out over the pandemic. I don't know. It was crazy. But now I see a lot of Pelotons on Craigslist and eBay, and
people are done.
They're like dumping.
People are done. They're going outside now. They're going outside or group
or
fitness,
to the gym or whatever.
Fitness. Yeah. So, what's your favorite inspirational quote?
Oh, there's so many. Well, one of the ones that I've really lived by, and it kind of got me through being a stunt person for a while, and I'm sure you've heard it, but it is my favorite one by Eleanor Roosevelt. Do one thing every day that scares you. And I literally try to do that. I mean, I've done things that I look back and go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And
Give me examples.
Well, like, first of all, jumping from a high place for a stunt. Jumping out of a moving van several times, like onto concrete.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Scuba diving, which might not sound crazy.
Oh, I love scuba diving.
But to go 60 feet down there when you have asthma, because I do have asthma, that did freak me out, I have to say. That was one thing I did that scared the hell out of me. And I'll never do it again.
I love scuba diving. I had one freak out. I think I told you guys about that on one of our podcasts.
Oh, wait. I've listened to all your podcasts. When did you have a freak out?
Was I talking to Charles Galanis?
Oh, was it?
Or who? Oh, Sandra Lee, because she had just
Dr.
gone to
Pimple
Turks and
Popper?
Caicos. Yes.
She was great.
And and she was talking about diving, and I was talking about the one time that I was on the sea floor waiting for these little garden eel to come up, and we were 90 feet 90
below. feet? No.
Oof, how much water, how long would it take for me to get up there? What if something happens to my oxygen? And I start floating up and panicking and floating up, and Bella goes, like a little 12-year-old at the time. She's like, what are you doing?
Like a sea turtle.
Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Come down.
Oh my God.
She had this thing when she was little. She would say, "See down. See down, Mom." Like, calm down.
Oh my God. See down.
Funny.
Oh my gosh.
I'm such a spaz. I've always been one. My kids have been raising me for a long time.
But the thing about scuba diving is all you hear is the sound of your breathing.
Yeah.
It's like, and it is like, it can freak you out if you let it. It really can. And that's really a mind over matter thing.
True.
Yeah. But
so you told me what inspires you. Do you have a mentor that you look to, that you used to look to, or that you do now, that guides some of the things that you do or have done?
That's such a great question, because there's so many people along the way, that influence you. And some of them, they don't even know they influenced you.
Right.
Like, honestly, with training, I have to say, because I've been doing it so long, that I was one of the first people to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And sort of paving the way for other people.
For other people, yeah.
But, I still even look at people that are younger than me, and I see them doing great things with it.
Yeah.
And they inspire me too.
Yeah.
But I have to say, my mom, she passed away 20 years ago, but to this day, I still hear her voice and her telling me things that I have lived my life by.
Oh.
So that's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's important. And I know you do that with your kids.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. Even though they raised you.
They raised me. They were born much more wise than I am. But anyway.
They're so wise for their years.
They are.
They really, especially Bella. She's kind of serious.
Yeah.
And like super smart.
Yes.
It's amazing. And Carlos is witty like you.
He's a nut.
Yeah.
Like his mama.
I like that in a person.
Yeah. We got to spin the wheel. And I want to ask you, what's your definition of beauty?
Oh, I know, because you ask all of your guests that, and I've heard all of them and what they say. And I noticed that confidence is a big one that always comes up. And that's 100% true.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go into more detail on that, because when I see somebody who is comfortable in their skin, like being a trainer, so I'm always looking at people and how they hold their body and how they walk. And when I see somebody that maybe could be overweight or something like that, but is super comfortable with themselves, I love that. To me, that's beautiful. In fact, one of the first guests that we had on Health Interrupted was Stacy Beeman from Plyo Jam, and she's a plus size fitness instructor. And I wanted to have her on because we're all about inclusivity on the podcast, and as a trainer, I'm all about that as well. And she teaches people in her Plyo Jam classes every week, you have the right to move your body. It doesn't matter what you look like.
Exactly.
You don't have to be fit to do a Plyo Jam class, or any class for that matter, or to have a trainer. Just do something and be happy with the way you are. And I do love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Turn off that voice that says, "Who do you think you are?"
Yes, who you had Angela Johnson on talking about.
That's right.
See, I listened to your podcast.
You are listening. Woo, it's true.
She was hilarious. She's one of my favorite comedians. And she was so great and so sweet.
I'm obsessed with her.
You know, who do you think you are? You are you, and you should embrace that and own it.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Yeah. So
we're gonna make you spin
the wheel. Are those jelly
wheel?
bean things on that wheel? Because I brought the sparkling water. Can I say Perrier?
Oh, she's waiting. Okay. Okay.
Oh, there's Jelly Bean. No. Okay, how do we
Jelly
do
bean.
this? How do I do this?
I'm gonna hold it and you're gonna spin it.
Do I spin it my way? This way?
Either way. Probably your way's easiest.
Okay. Oh, it hardly went anywhere.
Okay, go
Okay.
again if you want. I want you to get jelly
I
bean.
landed on the same
Free
thing.
association.
Oh,
It was
no.
meant to be free
Oh, no.
association. Usually I just call it ahead of time.
Okay,
I'm
my
gonna say
husband
it.
did this one, and because of course, I listened to that podcast that you did with him, and he was like taking really long to answer. It's supposed to be like right
It's
away,
like one
right?
word, bam, bam. And if it's funny, we'll go into it a little bit more if we want, right? We can
my
do
gosh.
whatever we want.
Okay.
It's our podcast. All right, ready?
Okay.
Free association. Plump.
Watermelon. I have no idea why I said that. I have no idea why I said that.
All right, so next word, tight.
Slim.
Okay, workout.
Yes.
Yes, work out. Everybody work out. Okay, and then health.
Good for you.
That was 3 words. You're in trouble for that one.
Oh, it's just one word?
You could have said
Association?
interrupted. Health. Interrupted.
Oh my
but
God, why didn't I
that's-
say that? Do over. Ask
Okay,
me again.
health.
Interrupted.
There you go. That's
Okay.
your name of your podcast. Movies.
Cinematography.
Host.
Ryan Seacrest. And I
Oh.
don't know why he popped into my head. But I
He's
think
hosted everything.
I know, like Ryan, stop taking all the jobs for God's sakes. And
Yeah.
I love when he shows
And come
pictures.
be a guest on my podcast
Yes, come to-
also.
And mine too. Okay.
Now we're like, can you be a guest on both of our podcasts? We'll film it at the same time.
Oh my God.
That would be funny.
That would be so great.
Okay. Moist.
No, absolutely not. That is a word that should never be said. It is the word that I hate the most. And I know a lot of your guests hate it too. But in my family, we have a little book that we write down words that should not be ever spoken.
Okay.
And that one is on the first page. And there's a bunch of other words in there
And that
too.
M word is the thing. I
That's
don't
the
know
thing.
what it's about that just gets everybody. Okay, sanitize. That's the follow-up to the last word I said.
Oh, gross. Because if you have to sanitize it, it was gross.
What's the name of this comedian I was listening to earlier today? What's the name of that comedian that I was listening to? Oh, she's hilarious. What did she say? She says, I'm not going to say it. I'm just not going to say it. Just
you
cut
have
that
to
part
say
out.
it now.
Can't remember her name. She did a series about like she's 39 and she said this guy was helping her with this project and he was standing behind her and I guess he got an erection and she could feel it in her back and she was like, I didn't feel violated. I was pumped. I was excited that I got this 29-year-old guy excited. And she goes, and when I went home, my panties looked like the bottom of a bird cage.
Oh my God.
I was like, who says that out loud? That was insane. Anyway, speaking of moist. Okay. So
This is an uncensored podcast.
I think we're going to be cutting that out. Look at Rob. He's like 10 shades of red.
Totally
when
blushing.
he blushes, it's getting cut.
Oh my gosh.
He likes to keep it clean-ish. Some cussing allowed. No,
Okay.
no dirty stuff. But she did say that in her comedy routine. I didn't make it up. But
What?
I thought, oh my God. that
In
was
comedy,
funny.
you can say anything, right? So
You can say whatever
Yeah.
you want. Okay, warm.
fuzzy
Bikini.
bottom.
Bikini Bottom. Are you also training Bikini
SpongeBob.
Bottom? SpongeBob? Are you training
Oh,
anyone
no.
who voices SpongeBob?
Oh, Tom Kenny, I love him.
Did you?
No,
Oh.
he's worked with my son a lot, but he likes bike riding, by the way. He's a big cyclist.
Oh, really?
He rides his bike to work a lot, and he lives near the studios. There we go again, saying where people live.
See, we know
Okay.
where everybody lives. She knows more. Okay, shape.
Form.
Okay. Getting people in shape. That's your job. All right, here we go.
Oh, we're doing another one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I hope we get jelly beans. Yes!
Oh, no.
It's jelly beans!
Hang on. Here we go.
Okay, this is it, babies.
Getting this ready.
She's already opening her Perrier, you
yeah,
guys.
because I
Can
did
you
my
hear it?
homework.
She did all the homework and listened to all the podcasts. Did you guys listen to all of them? Because you need to. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And also follow Gina Lombardi's podcast, Health Interrupted. And it's in the same places, iTunes, Spotify. Okay, so we're doing this game with these Bean Boozled jelly beans. Jelly
God help
bellies.
me.
So she has to spin
Oh my
another
God.
wheel. First, she got to flick this wheel.
I have to spin the wheel?
Yeah, spin the wheel. Flick it, flick it, flick
Oh,
it.
that wheel. Okay,
Yeah.
there's if you can't see this because you're listening to this, there's a little wheel on the jelly bean box.
There we go.
can't
And
see.
I get to pick. She got the one that's either going to be stinky socks
Oh God.
or tutti frutti.
Oh, please tutti frutti, please tutti
So
frutti.
this one right here with the little, that one, the
That-
white.
With the specks on it?
Yeah, with the speckles.
Okay, I have a white jelly
And I
bean.
have to have one too
with
because
specks
Courtney's
on it.
mean and she says that I have to do the same thing that my guests do.
Thank you, Courtney. Okay,
She's
so
mean.
it looks unassuming.
Yeah,
Okay,
it looks
ready?
cute, like tutti frutti, but
Should we
is
go-
it socks?
Should we go for it?
I'm ready.
And we both have sons, so we know it's stinky. Oh
Ah.
God. Oh God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's disgusting.
that is
Oh, my-
hideous.
Oh.
Oh my God. I'm going to have PTSD from this podcast.
Oh, that's gross. Oh, now you
Ew.
ruined Perrier for me too.
Does Perrier taste bad? Oh my
No,
God.
because I still have stinky
How
socks
do
in my
they-
mouth.
How are they so good at remaking these disgusting flavors?
Oh my God.
I've had it with this game, and we're moving on to a different one. Next time we spin the wheel, I don't know what it's
All
going
right,
to be.
Bean Boozled people, you need to be put in jail.
I know. Oh, here's a napkin, my love.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I put it
who
on
are
your
the
table.
chemists that are spending their life energy recreating
Oh.
stinky socks flavors?
That was
They're
utterly,
so good at this.
utterly disgusting. I was so hoping for Tutti Frutti too.
Well, on that note, thank you for joining us
Oh.
for the Dr. Beauty podcast.
yeah, I have to say, you left me with a bad taste in my mouth, Anna.
I did leave her with the bad taste in my mouth. In her mouth and my mouth. But
Yes, but it was a pleasure.
Ooh, we have got to go have some more something to drink. But anyway.
If I'm going to eat stinky socks, I'd only want to do it with you.
Aw,
So,
thank you.
thank you.
Love you,
It's a
Gina.
pleasure. I
Thanks
love
for
you
being
back.
on this show.
Thank you.
Bye, babies.